Hi, good morning, Picreta. We're live.
Good morning, Elizabeth. How are you?
I'm doing good. Do you have a good Thanksgiving?
Yes, I did. What about yourself?
Yeah, that was good.
That's good. Good morning, everyone out there. Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. Um, it's your caseworker for Creta and my colleague, accredited rep Elizabeth Royas. We are live today and we're going to be answering any general AOS questions that you may have. Just please keep in mind that if you have any DACA or AP related questions, to head on over to that department. Other than that, we still try our best to also answer your DACA and AP questions on our AOS Live as well. What would you like to touch base with today, Ellie?
Um, let's see. We are going to go over I can't remember what I was going to say. We were going to go over the I-864, the petitioner's 3 years of taxes. And I remember what's the other one. 20 taxes for 2025. So I'll touch base on the taxes for 2025 and you can touch base on the I-864. So
Yes, go right ahead.
we are about to enter December and we're almost at the end of 2025. W-2s are going to start coming out here shortly at the end of the year. And we want to very emphasize a lot on if you are married and you are in the process of adjustment of status. And even if you're not, you're supposed to do this. But if you don't, that's an IRS issue, not an AOS issue. But if you are married and you're going to be filing taxes for 2025, you want to make sure that if you were married on the last day of the year, you filed married filing jointly or married filing single. One of the biggest issues that we as accredited reps and as case managers are running into is whenever we are preparing these adjustment of status packets and the petitioner has filed single while he's been married or while they've been married the whole time. You want to make sure that your taxes are in order, are up to date, and you want to make sure again that if you are married, that you are filing married filing separately or married filing jointly, because that does become an issue whenever we are preparing packets, and it does delay us because then you have to go back, you have to get it amended. Just make sure that for 2025 you're filing it as you should be. Again, 2025 taxes. Make sure you're filing correctly. Married filing jointly, married filing separately if you're married. Don't let that tax preparer convince you that you're going to get more back if you file single because you're not single, and that's going to be an issue. So just be very careful with that. What do you think, Dakota?
I agree 100%. And again, um, you know, 2024 taxes are still being accepted by USCIS until the deadline of April of 2025. Um, Once that April rolls around, just please, I would always say, don't even wait. Like, just make sure you have your 2025 taxes filed. And again, if you are married, please do not file single because that you can run into an issue. You will run into an issue. So, again, if you haven't filed well, you can't file your 2025 taxes yet, but you have until April to do so because come April, USCIS will no longer accept the 2024 taxes because we will be in the current year of 2025 taxes. When you file those taxes, just please make sure that if you are married during the year 2024, even if it's just for a day, even if you got married December 31st, you still are required to file those taxes married filing jointly. And that is not just a law that USCIS, implements. That is actually a law that IRS has implemented, the government. So again, if you got married in December of 2024, you still need to file those tax. Um, and in regards to the I-864, when the petitioner is filing that I-864 for the beneficiary, you have to keep in mind that those taxes need to be filed. Um, so again, if you got married, let's just reiterate because I was going a little fast. If you got married in 2024, I'm sorry, I'm rewinding us a little bit. You know, if you got married in 2025, even on December 31st, you still need to file your 2025 taxes married filing jointly. Okay. And the deadline for those taxes are April. And in terms of USCIS, they will accept your 2024 taxes, until the deadline. But just to be safe, come April, make sure those 2025 taxes are filed. And if you were married in 2025, make sure they are married filing jointly. Okay. Now, in regards to the I-864, the petitioner is required to file the I-864 for the beneficiary. Obviously, if they do not have the 10 years and the 40 credits, then the petitioner is required to submit an I-864. That I-864 has a question on there. Have you filed your last 3 years of taxes? Um, if you say no to that question, they're going to want to know why. Why were you missing a year? Why were you unemployed? They're going to want to know. Now, if you did not file taxes solely because you didn't get to them, but you had worked, you're going to run into an issue. Okay. You can't present that to USCIS. Oh, I worked, but I didn't get around to my taxes. No. Okay. I would say wait on the packet, wait on the I-864 and get your 3 years of taxes in order. Now, it may slow you down. I would say it may take months, weeks or months to get those taxes in order, but you cannot submit the I-864 as a petitioner, you know, knowing very well that you worked and you were required to file income taxes on that income. But now you run into the issue on the I-864 that asks, have you filed your last 3 years of taxes? If you didn't file because you didn't work, it's not an issue. Get your non-filers letter from the irs.gov website. Write, an affidavit letting them know why you did not file your taxes. But if you did work and you're required to file taxes for that income, then you can't submit that to USCIS. Oh, I didn't get around to it. No, you're gonna put a hold on your packet and you're gonna get your taxes in priority, meaning taxes for the petitioner 2022, 23, and 24 right now. Those are the last 3 years that have to be in order.
One thing is you cannot be in a rush to send your packet out knowing that your taxes are not in order. You're going to have issues, and this is something that you don't want to run into. Someone you don't want to have issues with is the IRS because they will come up as tax fraud. If you're doing single and you're married, filing jointly, married, filing separately, when you're doing the adjustment of status process, this is not a red flag that you want to. And a lot of times it's like, well, I'm in a rush. I'm ready to send this like today. Well, I'm sorry, but you just cannot send it today because you have an underlying issue. And again, someone you don't want to have problems with is the IRS. We don't want anybody to end up in jail or having fines for tax fraud. So, is it possible? Yes, it's very possible. Uncle Sam does not like his money being taken away from him. So, just make sure that you do have all 3 years of your taxes in order, and make sure that if you're going to a tax preparer, make sure that you are going to an honest tax preparer again, because we're coming here towards the end of the year, and I have seen a lot of cases, or many times a client will say, well, I was single, but I'm married, my tax person told me that if we both filed unmarried filing single, we're going to get more return back, and that is tax fraud. So again, just be very careful with that. If you have a question, you want to make sure that you speak to an honest tax preparer, a CPA, certified accountant. We have some questions for you. Want to get to those? We have Chris
Yes.
Nunez. Good morning. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Chris. Anneli. Good morning, Anneli. Maria, is WIC considered a public charge? I believe WIC is not considered a public charge. What is your intake on this, Ali?
It's not. It's not a public charge.
No, it is something that you know, if your state allows you to get it, and they usually do give you a form to fill out, and you list your status and everything, it's not considered a public charge. Let's see.
Oh, we skipped one. There we
Oh,
go. Anneli says, I am doing AOS through my son, who is a U.S. citizen. I sent my RFE in May. They received it in August. How long until I hear a response back? I will say probably 3 to 5 months.
yes.
Maybe even more, maybe it can be less, but average is about 3 to 5 months. Okay, let's see. How
Maria.
long do you guys? Hi, Maria. I'm sorry, I always skip over the name. Hi, Maria. How long do you guys take to prepare AOS packet if I hire you? It just depends. It depends on a couple of things. A lot of it really will fall back on the client, you, how long it takes for you to get us the documents that we're asking for. I can tell you this many weeks, but if it takes you more time to get those documents back to us, then we can't stop, in the middle of the cases that are moving to get back to you if you've taken longer than usual to send us your stuff. So a lot of it does depend on the client. I will say that for that, you want to make a consultation. Each credited rep has their different timeline dependent on their caseload as well. So you want to sit down, have a consultation with one of the accredited reps or one of the caseworkers and ask them how long will it be, and they're going to tell you something similar of this is the time frame that I expect, but again, a lot of it will fall back on you, the client. So um for example, I will tell you kind of what I have. It's I tell my clients this amount of weeks. I tell them, but if I'm asking for something and it takes you 3 weeks to get that item that I'm asking for back, or if it takes you more, then I whenever you send it back, you just can't say, hey, I'm ready to go, because now, for example, I may have 5 or 6 people that moved in front of you, and I have to get them out because they we're submitting things in that timeline, and now it's pushing you back because again it just took you 3 weeks. So I'm not going to say it's going to take 6 months because it's not 6 months. It's a couple of weeks, but a lot of it depends on a lot of what the clients so you
Correct.
just want to
And
again make sure. Go ahead.
yeah, oh no, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ellie. I interrupted you.
No, I was just going to say just book an appointment. Our consultations are $50, and sit down with an accredited rep or a caseworker and ask them that question, and they should be able to give you an estimate. But again, a lot of it just depends on the client's responsibility to get back to us. Go ahead.
Yes, and that goes in terms of documentation and questionnaires, okay? Sometimes someone may submit the questionnaires, but there's like 5 years of when we submit the questionnaires, USCIS literally asks both the petitioner and the beneficiary for 5 years of residency and employment, okay? Where have you worked the last 5 years and where have you gone? Where have you lived, okay? So sometimes we run into an issue where people are only submitting 2021 and now we're missing a full 5 years, okay? So we tend to communicate, and sometimes it takes longer. Sometimes it takes longer for the individual to get back to us to submit the questionnaires properly. And in terms of documentation as well, whether it needs formatting, whether it's missing. So, you know, we definitely, we do not take 6 months, but we have ran into issues where it's taken clients 6 months, but our
Yeah,
turnaround time is
that's not
definitely
a
not
time
6
limit.
months.
It's not 6 months. It's not even 3 months.
Yeah.
It's not even. I would say it's not even. Now
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's not even 3 months. But one of the biggest issues that I run into with clients is when, for example, like you say, Fee, I ask them, where have you worked the past 5 years? And their answer is, I don't know. I don't know either, which is again why we're asking this information, because we're
Yeah.
getting this information from you. So it's a lot of it is up to the client to get us the information that we're requesting. And if they don't know, now you have to go back and you have to either do your research, whatever you have to do. But I get that answer a lot from my clients is I don't know, or I'll ask a question and they say I don't know. Well, that's where we get stuck, is when we get the I don't knows and the clients don't want to go back and look for this information. I don't have access to your information. I don't know where you've worked, where you've lived for the past 5 years. The only information is I can get is from the documentation that you actually,
You sent,
physically
yes.
present. So
And you know, Ellie definitely she covered most of the information, but I just want to make you all aware that when you come to us, you know what? After you hire, sit down, have all that information of 5 years of employment and 5 years of work history ready, okay? And for the beneficiary, whether they went to school in the last 5 years, have all that ready. So when these questionnaires are submitted and we have a follow up, they run nice and smoothly. We're not running into issues where there's so much information missing. And now we have to circle back around to you when we, get a chance because we have so many clients waiting, okay?
mhm,
So again, remember, whether you're doing the packet yourself or whether you're having us do it, have your 5 year residency and employment history ready. Let's see, for both the beneficiary and the petitioner.
yep.
Hi, hello,
Let's
Vanessa.
see.
Go ahead.
No, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, Vanessa. Do you recommend filing for AOS with this climate of immigration? Yes. You know, the law is still there that, um, the 245A law is still there that any individual that has um, been admitted or paroled into the United States with inspection can adjust their status through a U.S. citizen, spouse, or child. So, yes, you can still submit your AOS packets even under the new administration with the new immigration laws.
Hmm. If you have a straightforward case, you're gonna be fine. And now I will tell you again this, why do sometimes we delay? It's because we do the consultations to
Yes.
evaluate if we can take your case. We ask a set of questions. If at any point the client decides to withhold information from us and something happens, one of the questions we ask is, have you been arrested, charged,
It's very,
even
very
if it was a
important.
minor, dismissed, and you say no, and then comes to find out that, hey, there was something, then at this point you may need an attorney, which we would have probably told you, hey, you need an attorney from the very start. So again, if you have a straightforward case, you're not going to have any issues whenever you file your adjustment of status. But if you decide to withhold information, it be from us, it be if you're doing this packet on your own and you decide to put, hey, I've not had any issues when in fact you were arrested, then you're going to run into issues. Or if you go to an attorney, you go to an attorney and they're going to put on the forms the information that you give them.
You submit them. That's right.
um yep. So if you're telling an attorney, I've never had any issues, and then the attorney comes to find out, oh well, now we do have an issue, then that's kind of a lot of issues can come up. So how
No, I
your case is
agree,
going to go
Ellie.
depends a lot on you.
Yep.
A lot
And
on
I
you, the
totally agree with that. Why?
applicant petitioner.
Sometimes we, yeah,
Hmm.
I totally agree because sometimes we can have these packets ready to go. And I always stress at the consultations, have you ever been arrested, cited, or charged? And if an individual says, no, I've never been arrested, parking tickets, speeding tickets, why? Because under the new administration, we don't want to take any chances, okay? Now, if you come back and you say, oh, well, I did have something, a misdemeanor in high school or whatever, okay, now I want that paperwork, and I'll tell you why. Because when we submit this packet to USCIS and you forgot to disclose that information during our consultation, they have that information right in front of them. Okay, you can't. USCIS can see, they can have any information literally sitting there in front of them. So it's not like your employer, like they can't see expunged. USCIS can't see expunged. Okay, I've had a case where the client had we what they submitted was no arrests. Okay, she came back, well, they came back um with their travel document while their green card was pending, and the officer says you do have a misdemeanor here from when you were younger, way back in high school. The client themselves wasn't aware that they had a misdemeanor. Okay. So please, please, please check, because, sometimes we get in trouble or we get arrested. You know what I mean? So really go back and thoroughly check, recollect those years in high school. Hell, recollect those years in middle school, because you
Hmm.
never know. We've all gotten into situations when we were younger, but we just have to think, oh, were we arrested? What happened? Was my mom given a ticket? You know what I mean? So really go back way into your high school years and, recollect those high school years, and, anytime further, just to make sure that when you're answering these questions, you were never actually arrested, cited, or charged for something. Okay. Um, because if you do forget to disclose something, like you were arrested, even let's say as an adult, okay, and then now I'm releasing the packet to you, but hey, I forgot to tell you I was arrested for this, but no big deal. No, 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 no. I want to see the paperwork, okay? Because if it's something I can no longer, uh, you know, I can no longer complete for you, I want to be like, listen, I can't complete this. This is serious. I'm going to refer you out to an attorney. Or if I look at the paperwork, and that paperwork meaning a disposition from the courthouse with a clerk's stamp, I'm like, oh, it's no big deal. It's a misdemeanor. It falls under federal laws that, USC, you can file your AOS packet with this misdemeanor. You're not going to run into an issue. Then okay. But if it's something like, even misdemeanors, we have to be careful with, especially lately. If it's something that we look at, okay, I have completed their packet, but they have an arrest here, and I'm kind of, iffy about submitting this packet now with this arrest that they later disclosed to me, then I'm gonna let you know what, I have completed your packet, but I have to refer you out to an attorney because you definitely don't want to go to your interview with this arrest or submit this packet with this arrest. So I would separate there and refer you out to an attorney. So it's very, very important to recollect, okay? Recollect all the way to your years in high school, because even if you were a minor, you want to make sure that you were never charged as an adult, and you want to make sure it depends on what kind of crime it was, okay? Especially now, it's the time to be careful. So that's why it is important where we have these consultations for you to open up and let us know for any arrests, citations, or charges, okay? Very, very important.
Yeah, that's right. And I will note one more thing, and then we'll move on to the next topic. It's not the same thing having your DACA renewed every single time versus applying for adjustment of status. One of the things that I hear a lot is, well, I've been able to renew my DACA. I've been able to travel on advanced parole. That does not matter. Adjustment of status, applying for your green card, is not the same thing as applying for your DACA renewal. Remember, DACA is discretionary. It does have its guidelines of up to how many misdemeanors you can have, and it's not the same thing. They can probably renew your DACA and you're not going to have any issues. You're going to travel on advanced parole, no issues whatsoever, because they don't even care about that for AP. But when it comes to green card and you have any of those charges, you want to go get the paperwork, because at some point they're going to ask for it. You cannot hide anything from USCIS. They already know whenever they get your paperwork, there is something on your record and they want to know what was the outcome. So again, a lot of it is going to really depend on you, the applicant, how honest you are whenever you apply. And will you run into any issues? It just really depends a lot on your honesty whenever you do the paperwork.
Yes, and another thing is as well, you don't want to get charged with misrepresentation or hiding something from USCIS. And uh, you know, moving back to the APs, the AP application does not ask, have you ever been arrested, cited, or charged?
Hmm.
But the AOS application does, and it asks it for a reason. And once you hit yes to that question, they will check. Once you hit no, they'll still check, and then that's where the issue comes, where they, now you've run into a problem because you've lied, you've tried to misrepresent the officer by lying.
Yep. So
And
again, if any questions,
that is something you do not want to do, because that is a whole different waiver for that. Then you're going to need that fraud
yeah,
waiver.
yeah, no, no. You want to make sure if there's anything in your background, you really want to consult with an attorney, an honest attorney. You can consult with Dreamers Together, and I will be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you, yes, we can take it, or I'm gonna really tell you, hey, you know what?
Yeah,
You just may want to
for your
not
safety.
even, for your safety, just wait, relax. But I want to do it now. Well,
Yeah.
we are not going to do it now for you because we're not going to get you in trouble. Um, and again, if we tell you we just can't take your cases, because at this point we think that it's best for you to just lay low, let everything calm down, continue renewing your
Yes.
DACA, don't get in any more trouble, or go to an attorney. So yeah,
Yeah. And
let
one
us,
more point.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Go ahead.
One more point I want to make to that is, uh, you also have to be cautious that, you know, for any of you that have multiple entries after 97, okay, or you've accrued a year or more, or you were here prior, you were given maybe some type of order, you never left, and then you got caught years later. Listen, you have to be careful. You cannot, don't think that they don't have that information. You have to be careful with multiple entries. You have to determine those dates. And if you were ever given an order of deportation and you never left, maybe with voluntary departure, maybe by the police later for driving without a license or something, you have to be careful because USCIS can find out. Okay, so in terms of multiple entries, or um, you were given maybe some type of order that you didn't adhere to, you have to be careful with these AOS applications. Okay, it's very, very important. And we can go on. We have to leave it for another time, but we can go on forever.
we
But
could go, we could give you
if
all types
you,
of
yeah,
examples.
yeah, multiple entries, arrests, or anything like that, or you're not sure, definitely book a consultation or a AOS general question session with us, but have the paperwork ready. And that way we'll let you know what, I think you should definitely move, if you're going to move forward, that's your decision, but move forward with an attorney. You just have to be really, really cautious at this time. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's go to Zuli. Hello, Zuli. I don't have a humanitarian reason for AP. What can I do? Okay. So, AP is based on humanitarian, education, or employment. So it has to be, one of those reasons. If you want to discuss your case further, definitely book a general question session with us or a consultation, and we'll be able to maybe figure out if you um, qualify under
Brainstorm.
any of those. Yeah, brainstorm and if you qualify under any of those reasons. Okay, so definitely book a consult because we can't let you know about your case. Every case is unique, but book a consultation and we'll see if you qualify. Maybe you have a sick relative or some type of employment or education. So I would say definitely book a consult or a general question session with us, okay? This one's for
Joya
you, Ellie.
Miriam. Se pregunta, a mi esposo le dijo el abogado que saliera para que entre legal y mi hija pueda ayudarle a arreglar, pero tenemos miedo que si hace lo del parole no lo dejen regresar en la pesada. ¿Qué piensan ustedes? Alguien ya ha ido recientemente, aparte dijo que el permiso está tardando hasta 14 meses ahora. Joya, su esposo mientras regrese, dentro de las fechas que le otorgaron el Advance Parole, no va a tener ningún problema para regresar al país. Estamos todavía viendo que personas siguen viajando. Lo único es de que cuando van a regresar ahora tienen que pagar una tarifa de $1,000 para reingresar al país. Y eso es cada vez que van a regresar al país con Advance Parole. Sí, hemos visto casos de personas que no han podido regresar y son porque se pasan las fechas que les han otorgado el permiso. Ahora, eso es algo que van a tener que discutir con su abogado, que les explique cuándo les aprueben hasta qué fecha tienen para reingresar y regresen por lo menos 7 o 10 días antes de la fecha para que no tengan ningún problema. Sí, ahorita pues pudiera posiblemente tardar hasta 14 meses. Estamos viendo que son de 10 a 12 meses, pero cada vez se va alargando más. Pero no debería de tener problema nuevamente. Y si es lo que le va a ayudar a su esposo a agarrar la residencia o a obtener la residencia, tiene que hacerlo. O va a hacer el Advance Pro y aplicar para la residencia, o no va a hacer el Advance Pro y quedarse sin su residencia. Así es que esa es una decisión que tendría que tomar. Yo, personalmente, hagan el Advance Pro, apliquen para la residencia, no va a tener ningún problema. Okay, next one. That one's for you.
Hello, Susie. Good morning. I need help finding a new lawyer or office that can help me renew my DACA. I live in Florida and have used Catholic Charities in Jacksonville, but I was told they were no longer renewing due to funds. Okay, so here at Dreamers Together, we can help you renew your DACA. Just book with us, and we can help you handle that. Anything else you'd like to add to that, Ellie?
We also have a tutorial. So one of the things that I see a lot for our viewers is that we are asking for people to book appointments with us. That's like our main thing is to have people book with us, and that's not even true. So we actually do have resources, free resources that the people that are available to everyone, it be in the Facebook group or it be in YouTube, for example. There's two options. One is you can go to YouTube and look at the tutorial and renew your DACA by yourself. It's free. The video is completely free. It is public. There is absolutely nothing that you have to pay. We don't even ask for a donation for that video, okay? But if you want Dreamers Together to actually complete your renewal, then we do ask that you book an appointment. So that's the same with adjustment of status. If you want to talk to somebody about your case, book an appointment. Our time is valuable to us, to the organization. So of course there is a fee for it. If you don't want to talk to anybody or you don't want to pay, that's also okay. All that information you can find in the adjustment of status group. And it's free of charge. Again, we're not even charging. If you wanted to donate to Dreamers Together, please do so. It does help us provide resources, but our resources are free, except for our consultations and our services. We are accredited. That's kind of just the way it is. So, please, I hope I don't see any more of those messages that say that we're trying to get everybody to book, because that's not even the case. We're here. We're not asking for any type of donation. We're giving our time. And it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work to be doing this, doing our cases, answering on Facebook. But again, if you don't want to pay anything to Dreamers Together, you don't have to. Nobody is been obliged to. So just go back to the resources, do some of the homework. It is a lot of homework. That is the difference between you doing your packet or you doing your DACA, is there's a lot of research you have to do. Make sure that you've done it correctly. If you hire Dreamers Together, you don't have to do any research. We take care of everything until you get your green card for you. So that's kind of the differences between providing a service versus just being on the Facebook group and having the free resources.
And please understand that we do provide resources. We provide resources for DACA, AP, and AOS. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And again,
Yep.
it depends on how much of the work you want to do on your own and research as well.
Yep. Okay.
But one thing I just want to make clear is we cannot give you a direct answer to your case on the live because every case is different. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now,
We're right here.
oh, you got
We
it,
clicked
Ellie.
in at the same time. There you go.
Vanessa, we are going to be in Houston, 18th, 19th, and 20th. Book your AOS appointments.
There you go. The CEO.
You heard it out of her. Yep.
You heard it out from
Yep.
her. Yep.
Yeah.
Grace, I have an AOS packet review appointment for next week. Do I need to send full packet, including copies of documents, or just the completed forms? I recommend sending the completed packet
Yep.
as if you were sending it to USCIS. That's going to provide you a full adjustment of status packet review. Now, if we only get the forms, we really can't check like your social, your legal name, when you were married, your children, all of that. And that is something that we do whenever we do your packet reviews, when we make sure your numbers are matching, your passport numbers. But if we don't get that information, then we can't review all of them. So if you are thinking it, or if you do have a packet review, make sure that you send everything as if you were sending it to USCIS. Your information is secure with us. We don't share your information to third parties. If I get the packet, I look at it. If the credit gets the packet, she looks at it. There is no need to blur out your social security number, your bank accounts. We are not interested in none of that. The only thing that we are doing is making sure that your packet is good for USCIS. You're not going to have run into any issues with Dreamers Together stealing your bank account, because I've seen it. And sometimes don't blur your social, because I need that, because that's the number that I'm
To
checking on
match.
your. And now I
Yep.
don't know if your social is correct or not. So you don't have to do all that extra stuff about blurring. Again, your information is safe with Dreamers Together. We don't use it for anything else than to make sure that you're going to get that green card.
Correct. Now, I just want to let you guys know that I'm running to an appointment. Um, if you don't mind finishing up, Ellie, if I'm done with that appointment early, I will hop back in. But other than that, I have to go. Um, so if you don't mind, Ellie, I have to go.
Yes, they are fun. I'm
All right.
a few more, and then
All
I'm
right.
going to go too.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
you guys are in the best hands, obviously. Ellie here, she's a creditor rep and she definitely knows her stuff. So, Ellie, I appreciate you helping me out here and taking the rest of the questions. If I get done in time, I will hop back in. If not, I want you all to have a great weekend.
Thank you, Fee.
All
Have
right.
a
Take
good
care.
one.
You too. Bye bye.
Oh, it made my screen bigger. There we go. Um, Luz dice, hola, buenos días, chicas. Gracias a Dreamers Together. Um, Especialmente Elizabeth Rojas got my green card with no interview. Congratulations, Luz. We love that. So yeah. Again, the okay, boy. The end game is for us to get you your green card. Okay. So make sure that you send everything in correctly. We're gonna review all of that information for you, and we are going to make sure that you get your green card. That is the only objective, or advanced pro, or that carino, whichever the case may be. Okay. Um, I'm going to also go ahead and hop off. If you guys have any questions, you can come. We're going to come back next Friday. So make sure that you tune in.